Now we'll do a little leftover dish.
Yep. So let's say if you have some leftovers,
Okay.
this is a great way to take your leftover salmon and turn it into something different than you had already had. So
Okay.
what you'll do is you'll take your piece of leftover salmon and you'll crumble it up, and this has already been cooked, and that's important. You don't want to take a raw piece of salmon and do this with a raw piece of salmon because it just doesn't crumble up the same. So what I've got here, I had about 8 ounces of salmon that was left over, and I'm going to take some red onion,
Okay.
and with about 8 ounces you maybe want 2 or 3 ounces of onion in there with it, and the onion will cook down. And then chopped celery, there's another, and about the same amount of celery to onion. And then you're going to use a little bit of parsley in there, or even cilantro. Today we have parsley, but a little bit of cilantro in there really gives it a good kick. And then also, you're going to use an egg. Is going to be your bonding agent, and you're going to make a salmon patty. And actually, what I like to do too is I use a seasoning too to put in there.
What do you want, salt and pepper?
You can use salt and pepper to do that. I like to put in like maybe even some of your wazang is a really good seasoning.
Okay.
You have some right here?
Yeah.
Or how about I've got some of my own seasoning that, well, we just use salt and pepper here.
Okay.
That way it doesn't have the big kick. So mixing it up, and what you'll do is you'll take a few crackers in there and just crunch them down.
So you were saying that any kind of blackening spice will,
Sure.
just give it a little bit. But this way you can really taste the salmon.
Correct. I mean, either way, you're really going to taste the salmon in this, especially sockeye. Sockeye has such a high flavor content that it is really the most flavorful of all of the salmon. So, and when you're making this up, you just turn it into a patty just like you would a beef patty or a hamburger. And in fact, they work fantastic on buns, just like you would do
A hamburger?
right a salmon patty burger. A lot healthier than eating something like that. And I like to make them in about 2 or 3 ounce little portions. Now, olive oil is what I like to cook with here. And what you're looking for is just to brown it on both sides and cook the onion and the celery a little bit. The salmon is already cooked. The only thing that's not cooked in there is the egg, which will cook at a lot lower temperature than the onion and the egg. And the egg is just there as a bonding agent, and the onion and celery really give it a nice crunchy texture.
Okay.
And it's just another, again, like with cooking with salmon, maybe a couple minutes aside at the most, just so it's browned up. You don't want to go with too much heat, though.
Yeah. This is great flavor.
Oh.
Great flavor. I mean, you got me convinced. Now this is all I use in the restaurant. It's quite the difference.
It is, and it's good for you.
Yeah, and that's important.
It is, especially with the other stuff that we eat. It's good to try and make up for the bad things. And that will just simmer along there. And there's a lot of different people like to spice these up with certain different things, but even put peppers and other things into them. There's just a million things you can do with a salmon patty. And
So what do you serve with it? Like
Now-
a tartar sauce or
balsamic vinegar.
balsamic vinegar?
And that seems to be just accents that sockeye flavor better than anything that I've come across before. But it's all to taste. I mean, some people would take this and put this on a hamburger bun and eat it like they were eating a hamburger.
Huh.
And sometimes they'll break apart on you a little bit, but that still doesn't matter. This one looks like it's holding together just fine.
Yeah, I can flip it over for you here. Looks great.
And I can see that's probably just a hair bit too much heat, so I'm going to slide it off the heat.
Okay.
Just to get those onions and celery a little more cooked and not burn the egg that's in there. but I definitely like to cook with olive oil. And again, just touching it, you can tell that it's almost done here. It's firming up, and it will finish cooking after you take it off. So you don't want to take it all the way to the end when it's cooked hot. And that is done. And you can make a bunch of those with your leftovers, or you can even take a whole fillet, and that would make one whole side would serve probably 8 or 10 people if you took a whole side of salmon and did that.
Wow, it looks good. And here's some of that balsamic vinegar you mentioned.
And this is just a great accent for it. And you could pour it on top like this and actually pick it up with your fingers and take a bite of it, or you can serve it on a plate and use a fork.
Great.
It's just so many different ways to eat it.
Let's try it. Mmm. That's very good. That balsamic vinegar really nice.
It's a good addition with it.
Mm-hmm.
Want to make some more?
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Check our website, wsiu.org, for the recipes presented here, as well as links to Tony Wood's website that features more information incorporating salmon into your diet.
Previously, we aired a segment on cleaning salmon and preparing it using a simple blackening technique. If you missed this segment, you can watch it as streaming video on our website at wsiu.org. And you